Hello. Welcome to You Know Something? I'm Dena.
Hey guys, I'm Diana.
Hello, Miss Diana.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here. We didn't have episodes last week because Diana had some kind of crud. We haven't really discussed exactly what it was or if she knows. We'll be talking about that on Giggles and Gratitude on our Sunday episode. So, you know, that'll give you a reason to listen. We've got to figure out what she has. But you just now got your voice back. So I'm glad you decided to use it here with us. So,
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I felt pretty crummy.
what were you going to say, crackadoo?
Well, crabby, crummy, and I don't know what that came out as.
Crackadoo was the word I hadn't heard, but I like it.
You can make one up.
Feel crapadoo.
Crap-a-do.
All right, Dinah, do you remember Dear Abby?
I do. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember Dear Abby.
Yeah, I read that pretty regularly. I mean, it was very popular. And then her sister, Ann Landers, also wrote a advice column. For those people who don't know, for you youngins, it was a very popular advice column in at least my newspaper every day, every week. I don't
Mhm.
know. Yeah, but anyway, it's very popular. They were twins,
I
Abby
did
and
not
Ann.
know that.
Oh, really? You did not know? I told you something you didn't
You do every time.
know. And Ann Landers' name was Eppie Lederer, and she started her column in 1955 and wrote it until her death in 2002. So that was about 47 years. Now, when she died, she decided not to pass it along to anybody else. So the column ended, but her editors, which I suspect at a certain age, your editors are actually probably writing for you. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure they were very involved.
Yeah, I would say.
So her two editors, Kathy Mitchell and Marcy Sugar, launched an advice column themselves and called it Annie's Mailbox, kind of in a tribute for her. So that's still, no, let's see, that ended in 2016. So you can't find Ann Lander's advice anymore. But Dear Abby, who her name was Pauline, she started hers in 1956 and ended in 2002 because she, what do you call it? Not contacted Alzheimer's, but developed Alzheimer's, came down with
Mhm.
Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
So she left that responsibility to her sister, Jean Phillips, and you can still read Dear Abby, but know that it's not Abby because she's in heaven. But the funny thing about them is Ann Landers, Eppie, started her advice column in 1955, and then less than a year later, her sister Pauline said, "Ooh, I can do that. She can do that. I can do that better. I can
I
do
wonder if there was
anything."
a little twin kind of rivalry going there.
There was, and it's kind of legendary. I researched it, and they really didn't speak again for years, and then decided to try to patch things up, and it did not take. So they both passed, not solving that problem, which is sad. But I mean, I feel like Dear Abby was more popular than Ann Landers myself.
I agree. And I'm surprised that the two of them, with all the great advice that I've learned through the years of, they couldn't patch that up. That makes me sad.
It's like they should have written in their column, "Dear Abby, I cannot get along with my sister because she started doing the same job I did. My name is Mary and her name is Jane. What should I do?" Isn't it funny? It seems like people who like life coaches seem to their life is a mess sometimes. Or what's the saying that the shoe cobbler's kids don't have nice shoes. So it's
Right?
kind of how that seems to work out. But in any case, you can watch a movie about it. It's called Take My Advice. It's on Amazon. You do have to pay $3.99 for it, but it looks like it'd be pretty good. It was made in 1999. But I'm saying all that to say nowadays, even though you can find a Dear Abby, people get their advice from Reddit. Are you familiar with Reddit?
I'm not.
Reddit is like, I'm gonna say the butthole of the world.
Oh, okay.
And I don't say that on here very often. It's a website you go to, like chat rooms, and you ask a question, and people will answer you, or you start a whole chat room about, I don't know, an actress or a television show, and generally it's very negative and criticizing. And the more likes you get, if somebody reads your beginning of the chain, they click like, then it moves up in the feed. Like you don't follow people and see their feed. You see all the feed that is the most popular. So you want to get likes to move it up. It can be a horrible, horrible place if you're a famous person, and it's best to stay away from it. But I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if you and I played Dear Abby and Ann Landers today? You can be whichever you want. And I went into Reddit and I read people looking for advice. And I think I mean, I don't know what made Abby and Ann qualify. They were schooled, sophisticated ladies, intelligent ladies, I guess. And I mean, we're old as dirt, or at least I am. So I think that qualifies me to give advice.
For throwing me in there.
I mean, think about all the things we've been through, the mistakes. I'm only speaking for myself, the mistakes I've
Oh no,
made.
you can speak for me too, honey. I'm probably way ahead of the game on you on that one.
I don't know. Red flags, I recognize them like that now, whereas before I did. I was so naive when I was younger. And I think we're also past the judgmental phase where we would say, "You did what? Or are you crazy?" Where we can actually be thoughtful and give good advice. So I thought that might be fun to do that today as I was reading about Anne and Abby. And hopefully we won't get in a fight and you won't start a competing podcast or something.
I highly doubt that. Mm-mm. No, not my style.
Yeah, if you ever do want to start one, I'll help you with it. All right. So in Reddit advice columns, they're called AITA, and that stands for Am I the blank hole? I'm gonna say blank hole. Am I the blank hole in this situation, or are they the blank hole in this situation? So, because we're a family-friendly show, there may be somebody behind the lady in her car right now listening, or sitting on the couch while she's making dinner. We're going to say, "Am I the poopy head?"
Okay. I
Because I
like
think most
poopy
kids
head.
say poopy head, don't they? So, we're going to see if we think these people are the poopy head, and then we're going to give them some advice. Okay, here's the first situation. Since I've taken half the show setting all this up. Yesterday was my friend Lily's 21st birthday. She just turned 21, which you would on your 21st birthday, and wanted a birthday dinner at a fancy restaurant. Me and four other girls were in attendance. All of my friends drink. I do not. I am not a drinker, have never been one, and will never be one. I can respect that. Me and my friends get seated down, and Lily, all the friends suggest that I should buy an alcoholic beverage to celebrate since Lily can drink now. I refuse. And the rest of my friends decide to chime in and tell me to get one. They pressure me and pressure me. Finally, I say, okay, order me one. So the drink came, and as I stated, I tasted it. I didn't like it. I knew I wouldn't. One sip, and I wanted it out of my face. They told me to keep trying, that I'd learn to like it, but I refused, and luckily they finally dropped it. So, anyways, when the bill comes, I separated the meal that I got from the drink as we were dividing things up. I paid for my meal and said, I'm not paying for that drink because I didn't want it and I didn't drink it. You all made me do it. They said that wasn't fair. We kept going back and forth. I Venmoed my friend the amount. So she Venmoed her friend the exact amount she owed for just the food and did not pay for the drink and left. And now they don't want to hang out with her. Was she the poopy head?
No, actually, she was very upfront that she didn't want the drink and the pressure. She finally gave in, took a sip, didn't like it. I think it's the people who were there that were pressuring her that should buy the drink.
I
That's
agree.
my opinion.
Yeah. And drinks can be very expensive, if they're
Oh,
mixed
yes.
drink. Yeah, I think she's probably choosing her stance over her friendship, if these are really her friends. Uh,
They wouldn't have done that. My opinion's hit there too.
I kind of agree. I think if this was a first time thing, she probably wouldn't have reacted that way, but I feel like maybe they judge her moral stance maybe more than once. And I can remember going through that too, like in school when there'd be parties and they'd get in the liquor cabinet of the parents or they would smoke behind the school and I'd be like, I'm not doing that. You know, you'll
Right.
learn to like it. I was a goody goody. What can I say? Okay, I think we're in agreement on that. So I think she's probably just going to have to not have their friendship, or maybe out of that whole group, there's going to be one that says, look, I didn't like that either. Let's go do something together.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to have a mutual respect, which we've talked about multiple times. Just because it's somebody's birthday doesn't mean you should be coerced into doing something that you don't agree with and it's not in your lifestyle. And I actually give kudos to her for trying the drink. She
Yes.
didn't like it.
Yeah. Myself, I probably, let's say it was $10 for the drink. After all that, I probably would have just said here and thrown a $10 bill in, but I still wouldn't have wanted to hang out with
Hang
these
out with it.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
So I'm 38, I wish, and my best friend.
was like, really?
It's 39. No, I just look like it. We've been friends for 26 years. We have had similar medical issues throughout our lives. And I suggested a surgical procedure that I had done that really helped me and I thought would benefit her too. So she said, okay, I'll call that doctor. She scheduled it. She happened to mention to me that after I have it, could you come and pick me up and take me home and, kind of stay there with me and watch me for till I go to sleep and help
Yeah.
me with everything. And she said, sure, absolutely. I'll do that for you. I'll be your caretaker for a day or so. So then her friend calls her and says, okay, I got the appointment. By the way, it's October the 16th. Well, October 16th happens to be this writer's birthday. Her birthday is a big deal for her. She celebrates with her family. And she said, oh, shoot, no, that's my birthday. I wouldn't be able to be your caretaker because my family and I, we're doing all kind of like you. You said you celebrate your birthday month. So her friend said I was being completely selfish and she wouldn't change her date. That date is coming up soon. What should I do?
Go enjoy your birthday.
Hmm. Even as a
Really,
nurse, you say that.
even as a nurse, because everybody has to have something that's important to them. And a birthday can be very, an emotional day, or it could be a fantastic day. But regardless, she deserves to be able to spend her birthday how she wants it. And maybe this girl should reschedule.
I feel like she should be able to do that. And this wasn't a procedure she was going to do until her friend mentioned it. So it's not like it's a life or death procedure.
Right?
And probably if she calls quickly, it won't be like, 6 months later. But I will say, if it was you, these people have been friends for 26 years. If it was you, you called back to reschedule and it was like, well, we can't get you in again until 6 months from now. I would probably tell my family, look, we're just going to have to pretend my birthday's tomorrow, I think. I'd like to think that I would do that.
And that's okay too. As long as, you're okay with that. And again, she could maybe find someone else to be a caretaker so that this lady didn't have to spend the whole day there. She would still have time with her family and take care of her friend as well.
Oh, that's a good compromise. Like, I'll come and pick you up at the hospital, and then I'll take you home, make sure you're all cozy, and then I'm going to
Yeah.
tag team whoever else you choose to. And where's this girl's family? You know?
Hmm. Where's this girl's everything?
Yeah, exactly. All right. My ex cheated on me when I was pregnant with our son, who is now 8 years old. And because of this, he now has a daughter that's also 8 years old with his affair partner, who is now his wife. You got it so far?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. We are not on good terms, and I do not have a relationship with my ex's daughter. I have never spoken a single word to her or spent any significant time in her presence. My ex and I split custody 50-50 of the son, so she'll go drop her son off and see the little girl there, but not say anything. She just drops the kid off and leaves because the wife is there, and she's not the biggest fan of that wife. It was my turn to pick up my son at school. When I got to school, my son and my ex's daughter were standing there together at the pickup line, and the teacher told me that my ex said that I was to pick up the daughter and keep her at my house until he could get back. He was having a meeting late at work. I said no. I told her I did not want to be on that pickup list. I didn't know my name was on that pickup list, because it's a big deal to go pick up a kid at school now. You have to be on a pre-approved
Yes.
list. My ex never told me this, nor his wife, and I didn't even know they had added me to the list. When he realized I had not picked up his daughter with our son, he was furious. He asked me, how could I leave a little child there at the school? I told him via our parenting app. They have this parenting app now, that Wizard, I think it's called, where you chat through that and there's a mediator that sees everything that was said and done. So in case there's ever any legal issues, I picked up our son as I always needed to do, but his daughter is not my child and I will not be their emergency pickup. According to him, she was there till 7 o'clock that night because I didn't pick her up. So, what would you do in that situation? Was she the poopy head?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, it's not the little girl's fault. She had nothing to do with it, and she was nowhere around during that time. She does not need to suffer. Not that the lady has to have a quote unquote relationship with the little girl, but to leave her stranded there was inappropriate as well. However, on the ex-husband and the other wife, they should have communicated that need or made other arrangements. Can you imagine how that poor little girl felt? That is awful.
I would have been traumatized.
Well, sure.
Back in my day, it was just the Wild West. You just ran outside, and if you saw your mom, you ran to the car. If you didn't see her, you sat there on the curb till she showed up. And one time, my mom, I don't know, remember what she was doing because she was always just on time. She forgot to pick me up. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. And I sat there till like 5 o'clock, 2 hours, and I was the only one there. All the teachers said bye. They left. And I'm sitting in this parking lot. I was scared to death, Diana. I was scared to
Well,
death.
that was inappropriate as well to leave a child unattended. And it is your responsibility as a teacher to make sure that there's a handoff. So I don't like that either. They were
Yeah.
poopy heads.
Okay. I agree. I think she should be angry, hide it from that little girl who does not understand the concept of what is going on. She does not understand the relationship. She will one day and she'll realize probably what happened, but that's going to affect, I really think that's going to affect her
Of
insecurities.
course.
Yeah. She's
Mhm.
never going to have a good relationship with her. And you have to grow up as hurt as you are. Unfortunately, in my divorce, there were no kids involved. You have to suck it up and pretend everything's hunky dory around children. Is my opinion.
Right. Yes, I agree. And I would speak to that lady about healing and letting go of some of that hurt because the only person really that's hurting is her and holding her back from joy in her life.
Hmm. And you can't tell me at 8 years and she's still holding this grudge that her son doesn't pick up on that negativity. Maybe she doesn't come out and criticize that woman or that child, but he picks up on it, and it's keeping him from having a big happy family, I think.
Yes. Very uncomfortable.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm afraid, ma'am, you're the poopy head today. But call that school and say you take me off that list for sure. I'm never doing it again, but I would do it that time. If
Right.
you feel that strongly. I personally would do it, but she can take her name off that list. All right, we agree so far, Diana. I
That's
think
not unusual.
it's great minds. All right. So my boyfriend, who is 31, again, I wish, invited me to dinner with his old college group. One of his female friends, who is 30, female, who I've never met before, came late. She walked in late. We were already there having a good time. She looked me up and down and then said, "Oh, so you're the current one. Cute." I was stunned. No one laughed. Everyone looked at each other. No one corrected her. My boyfriend just kind of chuckled awkwardly and changed the subject. I sat there in silence for another 20 minutes before excusing myself and leaving. I took an Uber home. He called me later and said I embarrassed him by making that such a big thing and that I should have just been chill because she didn't mean anything by it. He wants me to apologize to her for walking out like a child. Am I the poopy head?
Uh, yes, because if that was a party that he had put together, he couldn't control what this other lady said, how inappropriate it was. I would have just said, "Why, yes, and I'm the best flavor yet." I would have
You
just
would. Yeah, you would.
I would. I would have come back with something to diffuse that situation as opposed to getting mad and walking out and then making everybody uncomfortable.
Okay.
But, however, if I did have a chance to see her in the bathroom privately, I would just say, you made me very uncomfortable with what you said, and um, I, I hope that we can be friends, but I don't want to be looked at as the flavor of the month.
Yeah, very good. That's a very
I'm a
mature way to handle it. I
I'm a
thought you could say,
person.
yeah. I'd see her in the bathroom and slam her up against the hand dryer. I didn't know what you were going to
Say that you did.
say. Okay, what would I do? I would be very hurt that he didn't say, "Oh, she's not current. She's the permanent one," or something, kind of grab me and make a joke back to reassure me. But maybe it took him aback so much he didn't know what to
What to
say.
say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or maybe she is his current one. You know what I mean? It's like maybe he didn't occur to him that that would be insulting because that is the way he feels. If I was her, I would not have left but I would have pulled him aside at a very good time where no one noticed and said, that really hurt my feelings. I would appreciate you can say something to her in private about how rude that was. Let her know you take my side. I guess maybe I'm a little insecure about something like that where I want it to be known that I'm the queen. You know what? If you don't cherish me, I'm not going to
That's
spend
right.
time with you.
No doubt. Amen to that, sister.
Okay. So Diana says she was the poopy head. I'm going to say, mm, maybe just didn't make a good. I'm not going to go full poopy head on that.
Yeah, half poopy head. I agree. We'll meet in the middle.
You're a fart head. That's what I'm saying. All right. Okay. I am a 35 male, and I thought I was getting everything I ever wanted with my wife, who's also 35. Ruh-roh. When we were in our late 20s, we got married. I truly love her. I loved her when she was thin, and now that she's plus size, I still love her. She became plus size during her pregnancy, and I was still hot for her. But she hated her new body, and she felt ugly despite all of my compliments. Over the years, she gained more weight and felt worse about herself. Recently, I discovered she cheated on me. When I asked why, she said, I just felt so low about myself. I wanted to see if other men could find me attractive and would want me. That's terrible. So we are getting divorced. She told my in-laws, his parents were like shocked because they thought they were just the perfect couple and had known each other long enough and loved her. And his parents told him as they were helping him move stuff out that his ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, told him that they were getting divorced. He didn't find her attractive anymore because she gained weight. She did not mention the fact that she had an affair. That's also what she told her parents. Now, everybody is criticizing me because they think I divorced her because I wasn't physically attracted to her anymore. I am miserable, but I don't want to embarrass my ex-wife. Should I tell them or not? If I do, will I be the poopy head?
I think honesty is always the best policy. I understand where this woman is coming from. She just felt so low about herself. And sometimes when we do that, we make horrible, horrible decisions that have terrible aftermath, consequences. And sounds like this gentleman has tried, really does love this lady. At this point, I don't know that anything else being said is required other than just I did not divorce her because she had gained weight. I still love her. Uh, this was her choice, not mine.
Oh, I see. Don't say the actual thing that happened. Just say that is not true. Maybe she felt that way, but that is not how I felt.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be so tempting to say, look, because you're wronged, you're hurt. You want to get the sympathy, his life is different now. It's over as he knew it, and he can't get any sympathy from his own family because they think he was, you know. And that's another question. Is it a poopy head thing to not be attracted to your spouse physically if they change drastically? You still love them. You're not going to leave them. But if you're being honest in your brain, if they look totally different, is it okay to not be physically attracted to your spouse? What do you think?
I do believe it is okay to not be physically attracted. Unfortunately, that's a thing for more men than it is women because
Hmm.
men are visual.
Right.
um, Keeping ourselves in check and making sure that we're being the best husband or wife that we can be on all fronts is what we have to strive for every single day. And I just think that it's unfortunate that things like that happen and people's feelings are hurt so bad that they can't get past something with even within their own selves, meaning if a woman gains weight and feels like she's unattractive, it's not it's not uncommon that women can gain weight as we age, especially after pregnancy.
Mhm.
And love is love of that person. Doesn't mean you're going to leave them, but you may not be, that may just not be what you're physically attracted to.
Hmm.
And you have to kind of figure out yourself if you're willing to live with that because you do love this person and have committed to them.
Obviously, if you're together the rest of your life, you're going to change because you're going to look older. Your hair's going to turn gray. You're
Right,
going to get saggy. Everything's going to change in both male and female. And it's easier for a woman to fake it, an attraction for their husband. I mean, you
right.
see a husband who has changed physically so much, the woman is not like thrilled with the way he looks, but she loves other things about him and she can get through it. A man has to be a physically attractive for it to physically, being careful my words here, physically work, that act to physically work. So try to fake it until they make it. Try to fake your way through it because obviously physical relationship is not the most important part of a
But
family.
it is a vital, piece of the puzzle when it comes to a relationship for intimacy purposes.
hmm But I'm a big proponent of what Dr. Laura says. I don't like everything she says, and she's kind of harsh her delivery. But she says if you're married and you have children, fake it until they're out of the house, and I mean truly fake it. Don't say, well, we argue so much anyway. It's miserable for the kids to be there. Don't argue so much in front of the kids. If it's so important for you to have a physical relationship with somebody you're attracted to, if you can't wait, what? 5, 6 years after when the kids are young to get into college, then you're going to ruin their lives. And Tia and I used to talk about that, but we disagreed. She said, no, no, my family, my parents were like that, and I wish they had gotten divorced sooner. But I said, well, they weren't faking it good enough. I feel like if my parents had divorced when I was young, I would be a totally different person. I would have thought it was more important for my dad to enjoy himself physically than to be with me. He chose, I think I'll spend less time with Dena so I can spend more time having this great physical relationship. And how is that not the truth?
Mm, I think you hit it pretty dead on.
Yeah. So anyway, I got off topic a little bit, but so we're going to say that he would be a poopy head if he made a big issue the fact that she had an affair. Don't you think the truth will come to light? It always does.
Oh, yes. What you do doesn't die, and things that you do will always come back to haunt you.
I agree. Eventually. All right. I am 31. I share two children, a little boy 9 years old and a little girl 8 years old with my ex-husband, Aaron. He's 35. She's 31. Aaron's cheating ended our marriage, and before long, he had moved in with Nicole, who is 34. And she already had four children. Oh my goodness. 11, 10, 8, and 6. So, and then they had a child together who was 2 years old. So we've got five kids in this other household, one of which is their child together. And now she is expecting another child. So this woman writing this letter shares two children with her ex-husband, and they go have 50-50. So they go stay there 50% of the time. This writer's, she didn't say her name. I'm gonna call her Beth. Beth's kids go to school. They're 9 and 8. Aaron and Nicole, her ex and the wife, do homeschooling. It's starting to become a problem because her kids are jealous that Beth's kids get to do these fun activities at school and have school friends and get on a bus and do all the stuff they think looks so cool. And so Nicole thinks it's only fair that Beth take her kids out of school and let her homeschool them so they'll all be together and not feel jealous of the fact that her kids go to school. Would she be the poopy head if she says, no, 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 my kids are going to school?
No, she would not be the poopy head. She has a right and a say so of how her children are going to be schooled. And just to be real honest, not everybody is very good at homeschooling.
Yeah. I can't imagine my ex educating my children.
So I think she ought to stand up for what she thinks is right for her own children and then let them make the decision for what's right for theirs. And I'm sorry, but how dare the other wife try to impose her thoughts, her beliefs, and her actions onto this other lady? That is highly inappropriate.
Yeah, I think Nicole is being a poopy head as we speak.
Probably.
And her kids need to learn that there's always going to be a child that has something that you want, or their life's going to look better than yours. And you've got to learn to deal with that.
Right? That comes from explanation from the parents as well. Also, if your kids are feeling like they're missing out, make some fun activities that they can look forward to and invite some of their friends, or at least put them in situations to where they have contact with children their age, and so that they can get a friendship base. That's that is taking away from the children in order to learn the give and take of relationship as youth.
Yeah, maybe she should let her kids go 1 year to school and see if they like it. I think they'll think, I think I want to go back home.
Or
One ride on that
yeah.
school bus, and they're going to be like, nah, take them on a city
True.
bus. How about that? Yeah, I'm totally with you. That is absolutely ridiculous. So don't do it, lady. Boy, divorce and kids is, there's so many issues, aren't there?
Yes. It's a wild world out there.
All right. So I think we've got time. Let's see if we can get these last two in. You're doing good, Diana or
Thank
Abby.
you.
I can tell you're kind of always about compromise, which is obviously the best solution if you can find a compromise. All right. I'm 28, female, and my husband is 32. Our son is 6 months old. He's a baby. Whenever someone holds him, we warn him that he will try to grab your glasses off your face, as babies do, pull your hair, grab your phone, and we're trying to break him of this habit, but he's 6 months old. My friend Jean came to visit, and she said she wanted to hold. I'm going to call him Derek, little Derek. And I said, all right, Jean, here's the deal. I'd love for you to hold my baby, but he is a little wild and he's going to take your sunglasses off your head. He's probably going to try to grab your glasses and pull your hair. So if you're okay with all that, then she rolled
Go
her
for
eyes.
it.
Good luck. She rolled her eyes at me and she said, you just trying to hog the baby. You don't want me to hold it. She said, okay, it's fine. I'm warning you. So I handed her the baby and she stood up and was bouncing around holding him. She took her phone out and wanted to take a selfie, which I said, that's okay. Just don't post it, on social media.
Yeah.
He immediately grabbed her sunglasses off her head, got excited, and started waving around. She tried to pull him out of his hands, and they broke. The arm broke off the sunglasses. She screamed, and it scared him to death. He panicked and started flailing, trying to get back to me, and he knocked her iPhone out of her hand, and it hit the floor. She was freaking out. She handed the baby back to me. I said, I told you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. Later on, her friend texts her and says, my sunglasses are, I'm not able to get them fixed. They're Gucci. They cost $800 and my phone screen is cracked and I'd like to get a new one, which is like, I think she said, this is 2,300 pounds. That can't be right because that would be like $4,000. But we all know how much a new iPhone costs. It's expensive.
Yes.
I refuse to pay. Now she will not be my friend. I told my husband, he just shrugged and said, maybe you should have been more clear about warning her. So there again is an unsupportive husband, which just frustrates the crap out of women. And then she's lost this friend. Should she pay it just to make the peace and then just never hang out with her again? Or is she going to be the poopy head for not paying, what is that, 800 and let's say $1,000, $1,800?
I would say if she was fully well aware of what the child normally did and the lady still went forward anyway, I think that that lady is responsible for her own phone and her own sunglasses.
Yeah, like baby bouncer beware instead of buyer beware. Baby beware, she warned you. And I just would feel like, well, that was my stupid decision to make. I would never, ever expect somebody to pay for that.
I
That
personally think that's absurd to expect her to pay for that.
I do too. I do too. I think we're agreeing on that. As far as the husband, what is it with husbands? Take your wife's side, even if you think they're wrong. Take your wife's side. You live with her.
Yeah, and make sure, don't say, well, you should have done this
Yes.
because he
Oh,
wasn't there. But again, some support of we need to make sure that we really have people's sunglasses off, have their cell phones down before we hand them the baby.
yeah. This is a wild
Be
baby.
baby, be baby smart, you know?
What is wrong with people? All right, ma'am, you are not the poopy head for not paying for it. And I would just say, well, lost a friend there, and maybe go to marriage counseling with this unsupportive husband. There's
Mhm.
nothing more annoying to me, and maybe I'm speaking from experience, for my husband not to support me, to question me every time, as
Right.
opposed to, I know Dan wouldn't do you that way. Unless he was just
No.
trying to make you think through. He might ask you questions to make sure you're thinking of all angles, but to say, well, you just didn't. You should have. Why did you?
Right. I agree with that. Yes, he would not do that.
What would his husband expect to gain by doing that? I don't get it. Okay, quickly. One last one as I blab. All right. I went on a solo trip to Paris. It was an all-inclusive trip, and I enjoyed eating out by myself, finding places to eat and sit by myself, have a nice drink, look at the scenery, watch the people. This one hotel I went to, the club had a family style seating where there's long tables and everybody just sits where they want. A family of five sat down beside me, two adults and three children. The mother turned to me and said, if you don't mind, don't order alcoholic drink while we're here. After we leave, if you still want one. Well, she ordered one anyway. And then she said, in fact, just bring me the bottle. So the family got up and left the restaurant. I drank all the shots I ordered and I drank extra shots as they arrived at the table. And then I bought shots for everyone at the table. Was
Okay.
I the poopy head?
No, she wasn't the poopy head, but I think she took it a little far. Didn't mean you have to, make yourself drunk and buy everybody drinks just to prove your point. However, when you go into an establishment with children, if your rule is not to drink and you don't want to expose them to that, then do not take them to that restaurant.
Yeah, how does a little child know what is an alcoholic drink and what's not an alcoholic drink?
That would, again, what was the ages of the children? Did it say?
No, it doesn't say the age.
Regardless, if you don't believe in that and it's going to upset you if someone right beside of you is drinking a martini or whatever, then again, don't there's millions of restaurants out there.
And probably another table. I
Pick
agree. I think
one.
she got very defensive and just ordered shots for everyone. Was a little immature, maybe. And why did you let it upset you so much? So, yeah. Or I would get up and move the table. I would be shocked, but okay, we're about to run out of time. Diana, you did so good. We need to have an advice show, I think.
I enjoyed this. Yes, I agree.
I will do it again. I don't know if I enjoyed it because I love talking to you so much and talking to our listeners. If it's because I love to tell people what to do and I think I know everything. I'm not sure which.
Well, a little self-confidence is good. Too much self-confidence, not so much.
I think it's always easier to address someone else's problems rather than our own.
Of course, no
Good.
doubt.
It's
We
good
got
to give
answers
advice,
for
but it's hard to take it.
Yeah, we've got answers for everybody but ourselves. But you brought up a good point in the beginning of the episode that you and I truly have been through a lot of, I would even call bizarre experiences that I think that we should delve into and dissect even some of those times because our growth comes at some of our lowest moments. And
Absolutely.
I definitely, the age that I am, I want to share my experiences and say, hey, I did this, so don't do that.
Yeah, maybe we should give dating relationship advice just as far as red flags and
Oh, yeah.
for our young listeners, because we do have some young ones. What we learned, it doesn't necessarily apply to them. The same thing wouldn't exactly happen, but although I don't like to use the word regrets, but some do-overs, I would have some do-overs to do better.
Yeah. If we knew then what we know now, things might be different.
There you go. That's a good title for it. If we knew then.
But we know now. There you go. We'll work on that for our
Yeah.
listeners. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dina.
Well, thank you, Dinah, for your insight and your diplomatic way of telling people what you think, because you did very good. I know that you probably wanted to use different language, but
There are times, but we've got to be sweet on our presentation.
there you go. We hope you and guys enjoyed listening, and we hope that you'll listen Sunday. We have when everything's working and we're feeling okay, we have 2 episodes a week, midweek. That could be any subject matter. We just choose different topics and chit chat. And the other one on Sunday is more of what we were grateful for that week, things that made us giggle. And then we do discuss Christianity and questions that we have and things that we've learned. And Diana does a inspirational devotion the last few minutes of the show. So you always want to stick around for that. And anytime you want to call us, leave a message, send us an email, tweet us, Instagram us.
Even ask us what we would do on something. You never
Yeah.
know. Throw it out there and we'll respond.
Yeah, I'd love to get give me some advice that's originally ours and not from Reddit. But I do thank Reddit for their subjects that I
Yeah.
pulled from, even though I insulted them horribly. I appreciate them. And I appreciate you, Diana. I love you.
All right. You guys have a fantastic week and we'll see you on Giggles and Gratitude. Bye bye.